Are you ready for more hole time? Calamity, what is your keyword or phrase? What if we did strawberry? We got a little two-parter update post. Oh my goodness. Will I be the hole for planting prickly bushes in front of my yard to keep the neighbor kids from my property? All right, here we go. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I moved into a detached townhouse a few months ago. It's a rental. I'm leasing. Oh, it's a rental. It's a rental, you say. Okay. I'm leasing it for a year with the option to extend that with a second year or possibly buy the house. My driveway is right next to the neighbors. It's big enough to fit 2 regular-sized cars, and halfway down my driveway, there's a path leading around my house. One side of the path is my house, and the other side is about 3 meters of yard. That's mine. Ever since I moved in, I've been having issues with the neighbors using my driveway for parking, turning their cars, storing their other stuff, playing, etc. Storing their stuff? What? Using your driveway to turn around? Sure. Parking your cars sometimes? Sometimes. Sure. Playing in your yard, the neighbor kids playing in your yard. Like, I get some people don't want that, but sure, I can forgive some of that. Using your yard for storage? Wild. Wild. Asking them to stop using it and to keep their items on their own property has not worked. So I placed a few large plants, including a camera and a no trespassing sign, and that helped a bit. At least the cars are gone. The last few weeks with the stay home advice, I've been working from home, but the neighbors' kids are making that really hard. They're about 5 and 7, boys, and they keep ringing my doorbell multiple times a day to ask if they can play with my dog. They asked if they could play with my dog, if I want to play with them, or anything else they could think of. I asked them to stop it so I can work, which of course didn't work, so I asked their parents and was told boys will be boys, and they weren't going to do anything about it. To keep my sanity intact, I removed the battery from the doorbell, but now they keep running around in my front yard on the path around the house, banging on my windows, banging on my doors, and actually tried to open the gate to my backyard this morning as they heard me in there. I once again asked them to stop, told them I will not be allowing them to play with the dog anymore at all if they keep this up, and they left, sending over their dad? I told them to keep the boys away from my property and my door, and if not, I'll be planting some prickly bushes to teach them to stay away from other people's property and shut the door in his face. Will I be the hole if I actually did that? I'd love to place a fence or something, but it may be a short-term rental. I have to be able to return everything in its original state for now. Edit, I'm getting a lot of comments about social distancing and lack of isolation of the boys. I'm from the EU. My country isn't on lockdown, and it's, or was, I'm not 100% sure anymore, advised to let small children play outside. And there is, this post is from 5 years ago, by the way. 5 years. About a week after my post, I planted a wall of blackberries and raspberries at the 2 sides of my garden facing the driveway. About 30 centimeters from the edge, so no overhanging branches. On the other side of the berry wall, I planted lots of stuff like strawberries and tomatoes. To reach the tomatoes and strawberries from the driveway, you have to either go through the fruit bushes or walk up to my house, walk about 2 meters along the side of the house and my windows, and then walk into my actual garden. Not something you do by mistake. For about 2 weeks, it was somewhat quiet, but I still found the kids on my driveway every single day. As far as I know, they did not enter the garden. I hadn't noticed them walking around my house anymore, so I figured the bushes were working. About 1 week ago, berry season started, and my bushes are now full of raspberries, and there's lots of strawberries as well. The neighbors noticed. First, I caught the boys picking and eating raspberries, so I told them off and dropped them off at home. Told their mom I caught them stealing. That's how I see it, even though it's fruit, and that I'd call the cops next time. She huffed, told me to grow up, but took the boys inside anyway? After that, it was quiet up until yesterday afternoon when I went out for a while and found the dad and his 2 sons right in the middle of my garden when I returned, clearing my bushes and plants. I didn't even confront them, just called the cops from a distance as they hadn't noticed me yet and started filming them after making the call. Luckily, 2 cops showed up after 10 minutes or so, and they confronted the neighbor as they were still picking berries. They told them they were trespassing and that the berry picking was in fact considered stealing and that I could press charges. For the first time, I noticed a bit of fear in my neighbor. He was having trouble finding his words and kept looking back at his house, I guess hoping his wife would show to yell at the cops. They all went inside with the cops, so I just went home as well. After a while, the cops came by and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I asked them if they felt like they had scared the neighbor enough to stay away. I got a small smile and yes about him, but the wife had just kept shouting at them and her husband about the little bitch living next door. Oh, I guess this goes a little deeper than just a neighborhood dispute. That's okay. I told them no for now, asked them if I'd be allowed to get an extra camera set up on the wall between my garden and the road to cover the entire front garden and driveway. They said that's allowed as long as it's on my side of the wall. So now I'm getting an extra camera installed. One neighbor knows I'm done messing around, but his wife isn't there yet. And if I ever catch one of them again, the cops will be called and possible charges will follow. I think live your truth. I think you're completely justified. Oh, we've got a new post. Am I the hole for yelling at my friends and leaving dinner after they all made fun of me and gave me a gay intervention? I, 21 female, went out to dinner with 5 friends, 1 guy, 4 girls. For context, I look very masculine. Short hair, deep voice, no makeup, masculine style, etc. Sometimes I get mistaken for a man. Usually, if it's by someone I'm never gonna see again, i.e. cashier or waiter, I don't really care to correct them. My friends and I are having dinner at a nice fancy place and the waiter came to our table and he mistook me for a man. One of my friends responds, "Oh, she's not a man, she's just a lesbian." Everyone laughs and the waiter apologized. After he left, I asked my friend, "Why did you say that?" I have never said or indicated in any way that I'm a lesbian, because I'm not. I've never had a boyfriend, but that's because I'm not interested in a romantic relationship. But we have talked about male celebrities we find attractive. I thought it was clear I was straight. My friend rolled her eyes at my question and said, "Oh, come on, we all know you're a lesbian." Nice, your friends suck ass. Hey, your friends really suck. More friends jumped in and said, "Yeah, you don't have to lie to us." I wasn't lying. They started making jokes about me, quote unquote, dressing like a lesbian, hiding my sexuality, being in a glass closet. Everyone knows. It's 2025, no one cares, etc. It all seemed like it wasn't a joke and they actually believed it. One of my friends, Eva, even joked, "You were obviously in love with Ines?" I showed genuine shock at this remark and she reassured me, "It's okay, we all don't mind if you're gay." Enos was an on and off childhood friend of mine. Our friendship ended badly a few months ago. I was very upset by it and confided in my friends. I never thought they would use it against me. I told them firmly that I'm not a lesbian. This isn't funny and I was not in love with Ines. Once they saw I was being serious about this, their tone and attitude became less jokey. They started lecturing me on self-acceptance, being in denial, internalized homophobia, I'm not homophobic, heteronormativity, compulsory heterosexuality, etc. It's like the calls coming from inside the house. You can't diagnose someone as lesbian. But also, OP said herself in the post that she was straight, and we have people in the chat saying she's aro ace. That's not for us to decide. It was like some sort of gay intervention. I found it absolutely ridiculous. I yelled at them for being bad friends because I couldn't even dress how I want or talk to them about my troubles, and I left the restaurant. It's the morning after and I have serious regret. I don't know what to say to them or what to do. Am I the hole, you know? Yeah. Clothes don't have anything to do with, clothes are gender neutral, period. Clothes don't have gender. They are textiles. Done. Do you dress the way that is quote unquote stereotypical for a masked lesbian? Maybe. Does that make you a masked lesbian? No. Like there are sets of clothes and there are intonations that lean toward a certain aspect, sure, sometimes, but that doesn't mean that that's the definitive end all be all. There are shades of gray everywhere, and if someone says, hey, I am this, hey, I'm not that, please don't call me that, be respectful of what they tell you. They're being fake allies and fake supportive, right? Because they're like, oh, obviously you're a lesbian and we all support you. You need to be a lesbian. That's not support. You are being disrespectful of and towards your friend. Even if OP was, their friends are trying to force them to come out automatically makes them an asshole. Right, exactly. Exactly. Even if OP was, you don't have to. Even if OP was in the closet, you are in public at a restaurant trying to force your friend to come out and accept themselves. That's not your decision to make. That's not your discussion to have. That is a personal and private journey for an individual to have and nobody else. That is their decision to make. At the end of the day, it's just you're being disrespectful to your friend 100%. Finally, some real actual tea, some real actual drama. Okay, we're here and we're doing it. Okay, huge. Am I the whole for refusing to consider stopping our divorce after my ex admitted her psychic friend lied about me having an affair? I met my wife, Rona, when we were in college together. I made the obviously terrible assumption that the fact she was in post-secondary education meant she had a modicum of common sense. We started dating our senior year, and after job hunting, settled on moving back to her home after graduating. We found an apartment and lived together for 2 years before getting married. All good so far. At our wedding, I met an old friend of hers, Anna. She offered to read my palm that said she was part G-slur. I am in construction and I know a few people from that group and they call themselves Roma. Okay. Anyway, this is, okay. Anna only comes to town every once in a while. She lives in New York City, so she doesn't have time to visit since she has an exciting life there. She makes costumes for plays and cosplayers, so we see her maybe 4 times over the next 2 years. Last time she came was Labor Day last year, and that's when it got weird. All of a sudden, Rona starts acting oddly. She starts checking in on me at work, coming by when I'm working late, asking to use my phone because hers is almost out of power, that sort of thing. She finally comes out and accuses me of having an affair. I thought she was joking, so I laugh and say that I am not. This sets her off like a Roman candle because Anna told her I would laugh it off when Rona came for the truth. I laughed because it was ridiculous. I barely had time for a relationship with my wife and my job. I'm home all weekend long. When I go golfing, her brother is almost always either in my... No, wait. No, wait a second. When I go golfing, her brother is almost always either in my foursome or at the club. Is this gaycation? Is golfing just gaycation? Is golfing the way straight bros get together and have foursomes? And most important of all, I love my wife. I wouldn't do anything to harm her, and yet she takes the word of Anna, the psychic seamstress, over mine. She asks me to leave our apartment. I say no because I have nowhere else to go. So she leaves and moves back with her parents. They think she is nuts too. I spent the next few months working and trying to convince her that I'm not cheating and that I want her to come home. I don't get invited to Thanksgiving because it would be awkward. I didn't even stick around for Christmas. I went home to see my family. They have been following all of this stupidity without commenting until then. At Christmas, they had an intervention. They said my wife was having a break from reality and that she wasn't coming out of it. My dad told me to give my head a shake, which he only does when I am being monumentally stupid. When I got back, I went to a lawyer and started my divorce. That was in January. Finally, at the beginning of April, Rona calls me to talk. I say that we should talk through lawyers. She starts to cry, and I agree to meet her in public if she will allow me to record our conversation so I can give it a copy to my lawyer. She eventually agreed. Turns out her and her parents hired a private detective to find my affair. 6 months and a huge bill later, zero evidence of an affair. Why lie about this? Why, are you just wanting to stir the pot? Did you just want to be a homewrecker? She finally believes me and wants to come home. I tell her that our lease is up in July and I already found a job in Denver near my family. She says she could come with me. I respectfully declined. I told her we just weren't right for each other. The truth is, I do not want to have my offspring share DNA with this dingbat. Anyway, I am moving ahead with my divorce. I am gutted that she took her friend's psychic vibrator over mine. Her family has approached me several times. The last time her dad offered to front us a 25% down payment on a house if I agreed to go to marriage counseling instead of just leaving. I politely declined. I cannot be bought. Rona is now depressed, but I see no way of ever trusting her again. She is young enough she can marry again and wreck some other guy's life. Am I the whole? For wanting to divorce your wife, for believing into this psychic lying to her for so long, going so far as to hire a private investigator. No. For literally everything you've said in this post, for your entire attitude towards life and everything, yes, you're a fucking asshole. Not the whole for wanting a divorce. Yes, the whole for saying really ableist, borderline eugenicist shit about her mental health. Yeah, exactly. I think everyone in this story sucks. The wife's family, the wife, the psychic, OP, everyone sucks in this story. The sex was great. She is beautiful. Still not worth sticking around. First comment when I go to his page. If you know any 25 to 30, I'll be in Denver in a couple of months. It gets more and more sus the more I read. There was no physical evidence of me cheating ever. Just Anna's word and psychic vibrator. As far as I know, I have never been unfaithful. Yeah, I think maybe this guy was actually having an affair. This guy sounds like he's coping by being really sarcastic and angry. Maybe, but what is that wording, you know? It sounds like, literally, it sounds like when Dr. Disrespect kept saying no wrongdoing was found. You know what I mean? Like how he kept being like, oh, legally speaking, I'm innocent. Legally speaking, I didn't do anything wrong. No physical evidence was found. As far as I know, I never cheated. It doesn't count because I was under hypnosis, and whenever my dominatrix hypnotized me, I am shifted into my pony Sona sparkles, so it doesn't count. Regardless, everyone sucks here. I'm pretty confident on everyone sucks here. Yeah, get a divorce, but also maybe think about going to therapy, being less of an asshole. and focusing less on the babies that your partner can give you and more about respecting and loving the person that you're with. Been with you in your pussy forever and ever and ever. Don't want to close my eyes. Don't want to fall asleep cause I miss your pussy and I don't want to miss your pussy. Huge.